the way.
Interesting, very interesting perspective there. Now, when someone is thinking of coming up with a business idea, please do take us through what they should look out for before settling on an idea.
Okay. So when you are thinking of the business to do, the first things first, observe what are people struggling with. So the beginning of any business idea is what are the struggles, what are the challenges, what are the problems that people are going through, because business is meant to serve people. So you have to know what exactly do they want. So observe to understand the problem that people are facing or the people that you want to serve are facing. So once you observe the problem, then you ask, how do we solve this? Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So as an entrepreneur, you have observed the problem. You have seen the opportunity.
Yes.
How do you settle on a valid idea? Because there are very many ideas. Every other day, ideas are born.
Oh, yes.
But there are those that are valid and, you know, take up and grow. And there are those that die within, you know, a year or months of implementation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is a very important question, because ideas are many. They say they're like hair. And everybody has got ideas. And some become business, others do not. Actually, in my book, The Hits and Misses, I've highlighted that generating a business idea is actually like, I mean, it's a story I've given there, my personal journey of, you know, conceiving a baby, and then sometimes people miscarriage, and others go all the way to being born. So yes, ideas come, but some succeed, and very few actually become businesses. So how do you know what is a viable idea? It is to look at, is it solving a big problem? And are those people you're solving the problem for willing to pay you money to solve that problem? Because sometimes people have problems that we think they want to solve, but they don't want to solve it, or they don't want to pay to solve it. So you know whether the idea is viable when people pay you money. Why? Because people will only pay when they want. So if they don't pay you, just know that that idea does not work. It is not viable. Yes.
No matter how good it is on paper.
No matter how beautiful it is. And you know, we come up with very beautiful ideas.
Yep.
I normally say, you know, we build castles in the air. If you go to somebody and say, this glass of water is costing 10 shillings, and they don't buy it, and many of them are not willing to buy it, you think they had a water problem, and they're not willing to pay for it, then it's not a viable idea. Yes.
Practicality is a very important thing when learning these lessons.
Yes.
If you could very briefly give us your story. Yeah? Your story on matters ideation and how, as you said, the miscarriage of the business happened.
Yes, yeah. I have so many stories.
Right.
Let's start with the very first business I began was actually a cyber. Many years ago, I was only 27 years old. I started a cyber business somewhere in Nyali, and it picked up. That was in 2007. It picked up, but then post-election violence happened, and all the target group, the Wazungus we were targeting, they left. So we had no one to pay us. And therefore, the business idea became inviable. So we closed the business. Then after that, I got into sales. I started selling insurance. And in 2017, I resigned from my job when I was the country sales manager for microinsurance. And what was the business idea? So because initially I had worked in technology, I was a techie, I'm no longer.
Okay.
Technology changes so quickly,
Right.
so I can't claim to understand it so much, but I have an idea. And then I got into selling insurance. Then I started selling life insurance, then all the other insurance products. And eventually, when I was now enabling micro insurance, is when I understood the real challenges that Kenyans face in buying insurance.
Okay.
And so when I saw, one of the problem was people come and, you know, push a policy to you. Some will try to explain, but you really don't get what you're buying. And so I thought, what if we made it like a supermarket whereby people will go, you know, the way you go to the supermarket and you're choosing bread. There are different type, you know, different manufacturers of, different bakers. Are they manufacturers of bakers?
They're still in the manufacturing
different,
industry.
yeah. So you will find, okay, this one is softer, this is how I feel it. So they're able to compare and buy based on what they see and understand. So we created a comparison platform. So the comparison platform is such that you're able to see, for example, you're looking for health cover. So you'll be able to see all the health insurance policies for the different insurance companies, and not just the price, but also you're able to see what are the waiting periods, what are the, you know, the pre-existing conditions terms. You understand? So you're able to pick based on what you see.
Right.
So that idea, we created the platform, and you know what? Over time, we realized that actually, yes, while Kenyans want that, or rather we thought that's what they want, they still want somebody to help them make their choice. So yes, it is there, they can see it for themselves, but we still have to make that call. We still have to send that email now with the summarized quotation for them.
Right.
So yes, a beautiful idea. We executed it, but we learn lessons based on how the customer uses the idea. So sometimes you could have, yes, the idea is very viable, people are willing to pay, but they don't want to pay you that way, you know, the way you thought. So you keep iterating. We call it pivoting.
Right.
You keep pivoting and say, okay, customer is saying, you know, we don't want it when it is on the website. So why don't you just do it on an email, you know, do it on a Word document, send it to me, then call me, let's discuss.
Right.
Initially we thought they would just go
and choose whatever
they want.
Yeah.
They go, they buy. Oh my goodness, no, they won't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is one way. Have I gotten other ideas that failed? Yes, there's a time I decided to create a software, and then the software people could not pay for the software. Yeah, so that idea died. It miscarried before it was fully blown up.
Right.
Yes.
That is very interesting. I like that through the experiences that you've shared, there's the issue of pivoting that you've mentioned, and also there's unprecedented risks that ended up killing your first business, you know, the cyber cafe. Yeah. So for a business person, you've come up with this idea, you've implemented it. How do you put in place the systems to ensure that this business survives beyond you?
Very good question.
Yeah.
Business is very interesting. And I'll still use the example of BeSmart,
right.
the company. So after doing BeSmart for about 5 years, I as the founder got a serious burnout.
Right.
And it came in such that I could not work. You know, I would wake up, I look at the laptop, and tears just start flowing. It's not because things were not working out. In fact, we had, that year that I was getting a burnout, we had done 7 times growth from the previous year. But from where I sat, I was very useless. Okay. So I would wake up and because I couldn't work, I was like, I am very useless. I can't even grow a company. I can't do all these things. And this happens to many entrepreneurs. I've actually recorded that in the book, The Hits and Misses. That is actually when I wrote the book. I was just journaling what I was feeling every day. And my editor decided to make it a book. So when I realized I could not do it, I sought help. And yes, I knew I needed many types of help. My family would say, you need to see a psychotherapist. But I knew I needed a business psychotherapist if there is anything like that.
Right.
And so I looked for my friend, Joram, And I told him, do not talk, just listen.
Okay.
And he got me a whiteboard. Normally, entrepreneurs, many of us, we like to think through a whiteboard. Moment you can see I'm looking for it because I feel like I need to demonstrate. And he told me, okay, tell me about your business. So I showed him exactly what we do, and he told me, I know what you're suffering from. And he told me it's a burnout. So he diagnosed my problems as a burnout. I didn't need to go to the hospital. Of course, he also recommended I see a psychotherapist. And it is that time that he asked me, who in your business can take over? And I remembered I had two very key, people who I trust, who had groomed, and we agreed that one is going to be groomed to be a CEO, and the other one will be the head of operations. And so he crafted a program for them, a leadership program for them, 3 months, and they were put on that program. That's how I was able to leave my business, Be Smart, and it is still going on without me. Why? Because we had to, to groom people, to prepare them to take over. Previously, before then, because we had an investor, this helps a lot. Investors won't come into a Madhogodhanyo business.
Right.
Madhogodhanyo means Kenyans understand what I mean. It's neither here nor there. So when investors came, we were able to put structures, systems, processes that would survive without me. And that's why even when I was going through the burnout, the company was going on. So all we needed was leadership. And that's what is happening. That enabled me to leave Be Smart. Not really, okay, I'm still the founder of Be Smart, but I don't run it on a day-to-day basis. And I was able to start 20X Entrepreneur. Why? Now, when I had given up, by then I was going to become a monk because I had given up completely.
Okay. All right.
Before I went to Kathmandu, Nepal, to become a monk.
You actually went?
I didn't go.
Okay. All right.
But I was to go.
Right.
I had a plan, a grand plan of how I'm going to go and live in the forest with the monks. And before, I was to go in March 2022. And in February, when February began, I was taking a shower and I got this idea of 20X. It had been like 6 months before I ever got any idea. We said they're here, and everybody got some. For 6 months, I did not have any idea, anything that I can do, because I was in the negative mood. I was wallowing in my negativity. And on that day is when it came out so clearly what we are going to do, how we are going to help businesses scale, because we had scaled before. And I left the bathroom, I wrote all those ideas, and I called the team and I told them, this is what we are going to do. I actually used the Be Smart team. Some of them, I called them aside and I said, this is what we are going to do.
Right.
And they were very excited to start that.
Right. So before we just get into the depth of 20X and how the idea came about and the birthing of it, let's talk more about the previous side of things at Be Smart, because there are so many entrepreneurs who they are the business, right? Yeah. So if they get sick today, nothing will move, right? Or the business dies altogether. Yeah. So what would be your message to people in that situation and how they can turn things around? Okay. Right.
Yeah. Let me begin. When I resigned from my job, I had a very, very good job. I knew and I was determined that I'm not going to be self-employed. I'll tell you, being self-employed is worse than being employed. I'll tell you why. Because when you're employed, you can go on leave. You can take a sick leave. And business continues. Your salary will still come. But when you're self-employed means the business is you, what you're talking about. That you are the business. Whatever you are, that's where your business is. It means that when you get sick, business gets sick because you're the business. So I was very determined. And therefore, from the onset, of course, initially I knew I'll be the self-employed, but I was working so hard to get off being self-employed. What does that mean? Build systems, make sure that business has structures that even if I am away, it can go on. So of course the first 2 years you grind, you're the one you're the one opening the office, cleaning the office, doing everything.
Yeah, you're the marketer, the accountant,
yes,
all those functions.
Yeah, but for me, I began differently.
All right.
When I left my job, I started with one employee. I hired my first employee on my sitting room at the dining table. And why did I hire them? Because I wanted them to shadow me, that wherever I do, they see, so that they keep, we can replicate that. That if I'm away, then they can do it. And that came, it came to work. At one point, I was admitted in the hospital. And business went on. Why? There was someone. So my advice to business owners or to self-employed people, get someone. Even if it's an intern, start grooming them. Even if it's that nephew or niece of yours, have somebody that wherever you're going to meet a client, you're meeting with them, they see what you do, they shadow you. So that is how you begin building a system. Systems is not something complicated. It is just, starting by, there's someone who knows what you do. There's someone who understands this is how we do it. When we get to this trouble, this is how we resolve it. So you can just begin by have that niece or nephew of yours. And now we're talking about a country that people have no jobs. So why don't you pick one university graduate or one college graduate or one Form 4 leaver, walk with them the journey so that they shadow you and they see how you do the business. With time, then you can start documenting every step. In fact, give them the work of documenting everything you do. Because when you go to a customer, they say, we begin by introduction. Let them write that. That is a system you're creating. Eventually, it will save you. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for your thoughts, Eunice. We'll continue with this conversation in just a little bit. I'm informed that we now go to Kisumu County, Kisumu City, where Wycliffe Okech is on standby to give us a link with small-scale entrepreneurs and exactly what they are going through, their challenges and their wins. Take it away, Wycliffe.
Thank you so much, Betty Kiptum. Back in Nairobi, like you've rightly put it, we are coming to you live from the lakeside city of Kisumu, and I'm sure you can see behind me or just in the background, there is a group of gentlemen very busy in the background here, and it is a company that is called Jupas Busy Limited. And Jupas Busy Limited is a small business that is dealing with the value addition on sugarcane to produce what I'm told is juice. So it is a small business that is producing juice out of the sugarcane plant. Remember, this side of the country, or Nyanza, or even Kisumu, if you like, is big in terms of sugarcane planting, sugarcane production. There are farmers that supply this cane to the factories such as Chemelil, Moron, and the rest. And there are those farmers that cut it all and sell it to clients just as all as it is. But then there is this group now that adds value to it so that they can fetch more revenue. But then to get us more details regarding this sort of business, I'm going to engage the founder of this business, that is Perez Onyango. If you just come along. Perez Onyango is the founder of this particular organization, this business here. And probably look into the camera, tell us exactly, apart from the sugarcane juice, what else does this startup deal with? I'll hold the camera, the microphone for you. Just look into the camera.
Okay, my name is Perez Onyango. I'm the brain behind sugarcane juice blended with ginger and lemon. This is a value addition we are doing. The first time when we started, we were incubated at Kiridi, that is Kenya Industrial Development Institute, that is in Kisumu here. We were incubated for 1 year. And before that, we also considered, me when I started, this is a company that we started with 2 young girls. The one is age 31, another one is age 34. I started it because I wanted a business that can be sustained for a long time. And because the ladies we started with, one has a master's degree from China, and another one has diploma in food and beverage. And I've also incorporated a young man here who is our manager. Our manager has got a master's in agricultural economics. So because I want this business to go far, that is why I started it with the young ones. I'm sure soon I'm going to retire, and then they will take over and move the business to the next level. So we started by sugarcane juice blended with ginger and lemon, sugarcane juice and hibiscus, and we are also now practicing what we call circular economy approach. The sugarcane we do, there is bagasse. After the bagasse, our manager who has the master degree did a lot of research on mushroom. We decided to now do mushroom with bagasse. So in our value chain, there is no waste. So what we are doing here, we want a business that will continue forever. And like sugarcane juice, when we do with hibiscus, we are also doing hibiscus tea, which the people with diabetic can make their own juice. And you can also make your own juice, like you now. You can just carry little, we'll show you at the factory. You just take little and you infuse in your drinking water. That adds value to your health.
We want to know how long has this business been running, and probably the sort of challenges that you've encountered all along.
Okay, the business is very nice and sweet, especially when people drink the juice and they tell me, I'm having, Mama, I've already drank the juice, but now I feel very nice. Some say they slept very well. I don't know the magic behind it, but scientists have proved it that sugarcane juice blended with other ginger and lemon has many other benefits.
How long has it been running?
It has been running, we were incubated in Kiridi 2021, 2022. Then after that, I want to thank Kenya Climate Innovation Center. Kenya Climate Innovation Center fetched me from Kiridi, and they supported me by buying me machines that are pasteurizer machine. They did the filling machine, which made me to start the business. So actually we started in 2022. Yes.
And sorry, in many instances you see small businesses, they don't last. They are founded, they are started, but then after a while, probably a year or even two, they go down. But you've managed to stay put, or rather to survive all the challenges. Probably tell us the few challenges you've encountered during that period, and how have you managed to overcome the challenges?
Okay, me, when I started, what keeps me going, I started to do it right with the government. I was incubated at Kiridi, that is a government. I'm being supplied with sugar from KSREF, that is Kenya Sugar Institute in Kibos. These are sugar from them. We got them yesterday. We want to do them today and finish. And then my business has also trademark. We have been registered with KIPI, and we are also partnering with Kenya Sugar Board. So these people, they have been, like Kenya Sugar Board have been really giving us stands. Whenever there is a show, they give us chance to exhibit in their stand. That is a motivation to me. And that is why we will go places, because I'm trading with the government and I have no problem. Like this premise we did, we were given a short time to be here 2 years. So I decided to write a letter to KSREF so that they can consider giving me space, which I hope they will give me. Okay. I'm waiting.
The other factor that small or other entrepreneurs that are practicing entrepreneurship in small scale, the other factor they're complaining about is the cost of production. How do you manage to balance your cost of production to ensure that at the end of the day, in as much as the enterprise is still young or small in such a manner, how do you ensure that at the end of the day you make a profit?
Cost of production is very high. I cannot say I'm making a lot of profit, but we are surviving, because when it comes to KRA, you are taxed even before you make any profit. So sometimes you borrow to pay tax. Like I remember when I registered a company, before I even started business, I was fined 10,000, which I was very mad with it because I had to borrow to pay KRA. So anyway, I just plead with the government to make life easy for us. It is not easy. It is just because I'm doing what I love most. Otherwise, I would be out of business.
And also, capital is another challenge for small businesses. What are your funding options when you started?
Anyway, when I started, I want to thank God that my late brother, Francis, General Francis, really came up to help me because he wanted me to make this business grow so that I can employ so many staff. So when he passed away, I was left like that.
Sorry for that. And I can see you are working with a group of young men here. Where are they from and how many are they?
I'm very passionate about working with students from institute around here. I've been working with students from Riyadh. Now these students you are seeing, during their off time, when they don't have classes, I give them work to do so that they can get pocket money. All these students are from Kisumu Polytechnic. So.
Thank you so much, Perez. I'll engage you more off air after this. Let me just hand it back to you in studio. Betty, that is Perez Onyango, the founder of this particular enterprise. It is called Jupas Busy Limited. And you can see behind me here is a group of busy men. Like you've heard her talk, say this is a group of men from the Kisumu Polytechnic. They are students there, but then during their off time, they come to help here, to also to fetch some tuition fee and also some pocket money. But then again, there is a critical point that Perez has indicated, doing it right with the government. She was incubated at the Kirdi
Well, that is my colleague from Kisumu Weekly for Catch there, giving us insights into the business run by Perez Onyango there, the sugarcane juice production, and just how far they have come from incubation and to a business that is thriving now. And she has brought up quite a number of issues that are very important for small businesses to take into effect, and we shall be discussing some of them with my guest on air, that is Eunice Maina, who is the CEO of 20X Entrepreneurs. Eunice, you have listened to Ms. Perez. She seems to have quite a number of, the boxes checked, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Please give me your comments on that.
Yeah, I really like what Perez is doing. And you can see she began with her daughters because she began her business with succession in mind, that she knows that if she's the business, then it will die. I really love what she's doing. And I think this has been contributed by the incubation she went through. Many small business owners, we think we know. So because you have this idea, you want to do it your own, you do it your way, and that is where we get into trouble. But for Perez, she went to Kildi, incubated there, even being able to raise capital from her own brother. Yeah, so I would say she's one of the few entrepreneurs who have ticked the many boxes that need to be ticked.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
There's the issue that she brought out of trademark and registration. A lot of small businesses are very informal, so to say. They're not registered, they don't have their paperwork right. What does this do for a business, making sure that you're registered, you have your trademarks, you have you're right with the taxman as well. Yeah. What does this do for a business in the long term?
Yeah, I am a believer that compliance saves you a lot of agony. I was listening to Perez saying how she had to borrow to pay KRA. I remembered my first business, the cyber. Yeah. One of the reasons why we closed, when there was no business, then Kanjo came. We closed the day Kajo came because we were asking for 30,000 and we didn't have it. So my point is compliance. We, especially Kenyans, we fear compliance because we think that will make government mulika us. So we want to hide. But over time, as I do business, I realize that when you comply, as Perez puts it, when you're right with government, then you can actually explore many opportunities. You see, Paris can come on TV. If she had not complied, she wouldn't, because she will think KRA will be looking for her. So for small businesses, try your best to comply. The earlier the better, before it becomes an elephant. So if you start the day one, just find out. And there are professionals who can help. Even those young, family members who are in school or they're doing some, consult them. How do I make sure that I'm in compliance? So do not hide yourself with your challenges. Comply. Yes.
Comply.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Right. Now tell us about 20X Entrepreneurs.
Wow, yes. So I was sharing with you when I got the idea of 20X Entrepreneur and how it came about. When I was very young, when I cleared university, my first job was, my first serious job, achana na hizo zingine, I did others, but the first serious job was training. And we went through a 3-month training, something called management of learning. So this is where the organization was taking fresh graduates, train them seriously to train government officers, because that was when Kibaki had come to power and all the government offices were being computerized. So they were training us to train IT skills to government officials. And so my first serious job was training, and we were training, that time when you're 24, you think people who are 35 are very old. So we used to train the old people.
At the time.
At the time.
Yeah.
And so when I was now at the bottom rock, it is when this came back. It's like, Eunice, go back to your first love, which was training, teach people how to do business. You have already, gone through the ropes. Now start teaching them. But then I was like, how do I train them? It's, I'll get burnout if I start training, because it will be me. Business will be me. So at that point is when I was very clear that I'm not going to be the business. So I was able to see different ways of scaling the business without me being the core of the doing of that business. So 20X Entrepreneur is a business growth accelerator. We focus on helping businesses grow, and our dream and aspiration is that because we are dealing with especially the small businesses or salespeople of organizations, then they can grow 20 times in 3 to 5 years. Where did that come from? When I left my job, the training job, and then went to sell insurance, I was able to grow my income 20 times in 3 years. So I believe that if we can, because I've documented that journey in a book, Sell Me This Pen, if we can do that, I'm a scientist, so I believe that this growth, sales is a science. If we can teach people what we did to get that growth, then they do it, then they can grow 20 times. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so what have you been able to achieve the few years that you've been running this 20X? What are the stories that you can say you have seen this business come from this ideation point to growth? Yeah,
we have trained over 1,000 business owners, and we've trained corporates. When I say corporates, it's organizations, for example, banks. You see, bankers struggle to sell the new way because the customer has changed, but they're still selling the old way, sometimes just waiting for customers to go. So we've been able to train over 1,000 SMEs and many corporates, whereby we've trained their sales teams, and now we've even gone beyond training just the sales teams, because for sales to grow, there need to be enablers, also need to be prepared to be, when I say enablers of sales, it's any other department in a business, because business has only 2 things. It's income and expenses, isn't it? So sales bring income, other parts of the business may be contributing to the expense. So when I say enablers, I'm talking about the IT department, I'm talking about the marketing, I'm talking about the operations, the admin. When all these people are aligned, then business can be able to grow, because sales cannot be left for the front line salespeople only. The other back office people need to be trained. How do they enable the salespeople when they go out there, they're able to deliver? Why? Because customers buy value. So when they actually buy their perceived value. So whatever you're delivering, everybody need to be part of that. So over time, we've gone to actually enable the enablers in areas of mental wellness, because how do you become self-aware so that you know how you communicate to yourself, so that you can be able to communicate with others, your colleagues, your customers, and all that. How do you deliver a wonderful customer experience? How do you, if you're a leader, how do you lead this team to be able to enable these sales to happen? So everything, 20X, we focus, by the end of the end game is grow sales. But we know that there are other elements in between that would contribute to growing or not growing the sales.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Those are very important pointers. I know that one of your projects is ensuring that young people are taking advantage of the opportunities that are there in government, including affordable housing projects.
Yeah.
So please tell us about that and your experience so far, what you have noticed, and are people actually taking up these jobs?
Yes. So last year, as we discussed earlier, ideas are many. So, and ideas come from seeing challenges, seeing where people are complaining. For me, I tell people I love problems. When I hear people complaining, I want to hear, what are they complaining about? Is there anything I can do about it? So last year, what was happening in our country, and I asked, what is the real issues? Are they real or are they imagined? And I took it upon myself to understand, okay, I just picked one area. And for me, I picked on the area of housing. And I asked, if when governments say they are affordable housing, are they there? Are they for real? Or are they stories? And you know that we have, we've been talking, many people, Kenyans, talk about, being given stories and there's no reality kwa ground. So I decided, wacha niende ground, let me see, is it happening? Then I discovered it is actually their buildings. Some of them are complete, others are beginning. Then I was like, so why are we making noise around this? What is the complaint about? So, and I asked, me as a business person, is there an opportunity there? If I am a hardware owner, do I have an opportunity in this? If I am a plumber, if I am an electrician, if I am a mason, are there opportunities? So we came up with Chanuka, Jipange, na opportunities. Why? Chanuka, be enlightened. It's like a light bulb. Be enlightened. Jipange, organize yourself, put yourself together so that when opportunities come, they don't pass you. Because I told you I got into burnout and I got into a very negative mode. And one thing I learned when I was in that state is that you cannot get new ideas when you're in that state. And knowing what was happening last year in our country, people stopped thinking, because there's so much, it was all about things that are not working. But then it takes someone to take a step back and ask, is there something working? Amidst all the non-working things, is there something working? And so Chanuka Jipange na opportunities is to stir people, especially the young people in the counties. And not just the young people, because, opportunities don't care whether you're young or old.
That is true.
When opportunities come, they knock at every door. Now, some people see it and take advantage of it. Others are so engrossed in their other things. Some are negative things. Others are, busy doing other things. So they don't see the opportunity coming. So we asked, how can we start up this enlightenment so that people can see it. So we started with Embu County. And when we went to Embu County, in Embu County we had about 150 young people and even some not so young people in the room. And what surprised me is in that group, randomly picked, people, just hearing the word, those who came, about 10% had benefited from the affordable housing project that had just ended in Embu. And my question was, how did you benefit? And then I asked the others, why didn't you benefit? So those who said they did not benefit, they say, first of all, hizi nyumba zinajengwa, ziko huko juu, nitapata title aje? And then we ask, what is your business? Me, I make windows. So how does your making windows and the title deed stop you
from benefiting?
So what is your business? So basically is to take them through a journey of what is your circle of control. Yes, there are people who will need to complain about the title deeds, but you are in business. Why is the title deed bothering you? Are the buildings happening? Are the housing being built? So what is innate for me as a business person? Right. And this is not to discount, the employees who are being deducted the housing levy and are complaining. But we as business people, we focus on what is in our circle
what
of
opportunities
control.
are there.
What is the opportunity there? Now, look at it this way. When these buildings have been built, see, there will be a salonist. See, these people need to be served. Now, not withholding who buys or who doesn't buy. From where I sit, I don't care who buys, because all I care is I will supply water in that building. Somebody will put a salon out there. Somebody will put a kiosk there. Somebody will put a kinyozi. Another one will plumbers will continue plumbing, because see, the sinks will need a plumber.
Yeah.
Electrician will be needed. So my point is, we as entrepreneurs, business owners, let's focus on what matters for us. Because, you start with loving yourself before you love others, isn't it?
Yes, that is very true. As we come to a close of the conversation, Eunice, I'd give you just 1 minute to give us your closing remarks, your message to someone with an entrepreneurial spirit out there.
So my message to those who desire to be entrepreneurs,
You can
don't start thinking, don't overthink an idea. Just go out there, observe. Observe, what are people complaining about? What are they asking about? You see, parents in Kisumu know that people love juice, sugarcane juice. And then when she put ginger, she realized that people love it even tasting with ginger more. So ask, what are people complaining about, or what are people desiring a lot? Because opportunities are in that. Opportunities are not in your head, they are in people. So listen to people, be a good listener. And we normally say that God gave us 2 ears, 2 eyes, only 1 mouth. Because 2 ears are to hear what are people saying, and 2 eyes are to see what they are not saying, and 1 mouth to ask, what can I do for you? And in that, then you design a product that will meet that demand. Now, for the Chanuka Jipange na opportunities, this is an initiative for people in the construction value chain. If you're a hardware owner, if you're a plumber, an artisan, you're in that, or you want to manufacture in that area, please ask yourself, where do I get my news from? Now, when I get the news, do they make me believe or do they make me doubt? If they make you believe, what happens is you wake up the following morning with anticipation. I want to do something. I want to try something new. So beyond the noise, let's find the opportunities in the noise. If you get accustomed to negative news, you get doubt. What does doubt do to you? You want to sleep in. You want to complain more. You want to seek more negative news. You stop trying. And then by the end of the day, government will never be good to anyone. who is not making money. That's true.
Thank you.
Let's do it. Let's find opportunities beyond the noise.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eunice. It is time to switch your mindset to look at opportunities.
Yes.
Asante sana. That is the message this morning on BizCheck, that you need to look at the opportunities around you and figure out just what you can do to help solve those challenges, whether in your community or in your county or nationally in the country, and put that into a business idea. This is BizCheck. Eunice Maina has been my guest for the first hour, the CEO of 20X Entrepreneurs, discussing just how to grow a business from ideation to reality. BizCheck takes a quick break. When we come back, we shall be discussing environmental, social and governance, ESG, in terms of corporate responsibility. Do stay with us.